most expensive mistakes in history. Every major disaster in history began with a single moment, one choice, one warning that nobody took seriously. And in that one moment, empires fell, companies disappeared, and sometimes lives were lost. These are not stories about simple bad luck. They are stories about what happens when confidence turns into arrogance, when tiny mistakes are ignored, and when some of the smartest people alive made the wrong decision. This is the real price of history's most expensive mistakes. Chapter 1. The Titanic, the ship that could never sink. April 1912. The biggest and most luxurious ship ever created leaves Southampton, England. The RMS Titanic. More than 2,200 passengers on board. Wealthy elites, families, people chasing new opportunities across the ocean. The world believed the Titanic was unsinkable. And that belief, unsinkable, became the beginning of the disaster. Because the moment people believe failure is impossible, they stop preparing for it. Throughout the day, multiple ice warnings arrived. Clear messages, direct signs of danger ahead. But the ship kept going, full speed, straight into the darkness. Then, just before midnight, the iceberg. In less than 3 hours, the Titanic disappeared beneath the freezing Atlantic Ocean. More than 1,500 people died. Too few lifeboats, too little caution, too much confidence to slow down. The financial losses were enormous, but the true cost of the Titanic was never just about money. It revealed one of humanity's oldest weaknesses: overconfidence. The ship that could never sink sank on its very first trip. Chapter 2. Blockbuster versus Netflix. The deal that changed entertainment forever. The year is 2000. Blockbuster dominates the entertainment industry. 9,000 stores worldwide, 60 million customers, a company so powerful that Friday nights felt incomplete without a visit to Blockbuster. Then two entrepreneurs walked into Blockbuster's headquarters, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, the founders of a small DVD rental startup called Netflix. Their proposal was simple: buy Netflix for $50 million. Blockbuster executives listened. Then they laughed. $50 million for a struggling startup with no physical stores and no future? They rejected the offer. That rejection became one of the most expensive decisions in business history. Because Netflix didn't disappear. Netflix evolved, expanded, and eventually transformed the entire entertainment industry. Streaming, original productions, worldwide dominance. Today, Netflix is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And Blockbuster? Gone. Only one store remains in Bend, Oregon, now remembered more as a symbol of failure than a movie rental shop. One meeting, one decision, one word that changed everything. No. Chapter 3. The Mars Climate Orbiter, a $125 million calculation mistake. NASA's top engineers spend years developing a spacecraft designed to study Mars. The Mars Climate Orbiter, total cost, $125 million. Years of planning, endless calculations, hundreds of brilliant minds working together. The launch succeeds perfectly. The spacecraft travels 416 million miles through space. After 9 months of flawless performance, it approaches Mars. And then, it disappears, destroyed after entering the Martian atmosphere at the wrong angle. The investigation uncovered something almost unbelievable. One engineering team used metric measurements, another used imperial measurements. Nobody noticed the difference. That single communication failure between two highly skilled teams working on the same project destroyed a $125 million spacecraft within seconds. NASA learned a painful lesson that day. Sometimes disasters are not caused by massive failures. Sometimes they happen because of one tiny detail nobody bothered to verify. Chapter 4. Deepwater Horizon. When warning signs are ignored. April 20th, 2010. 50 miles off the coast of Louisiana, deep in the Gulf of Mexico, an explosion rips through the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. 11 workers lose their lives instantly. Then the oil begins leaking. For 87 straight days, nearly 5 million barrels of crude oil pour into the ocean. Entire coastlines suffer devastating damage. Marine life collapses. Communities built over generations are destroyed almost overnight. Cleanup costs, lawsuits, and compensation eventually exceed $65 billion, one of the most expensive corporate disasters ever recorded. But the most disturbing part of the story? The warning signs already existed. Investigations later revealed that safety concerns had been raised long before the explosion. Critical risks were visible. Important safety checks had been ignored to save time and reduce costs. This was not simply an accident. It was the result of a system that had been failing quietly for a long time. When speed becomes more important than safety, the consequences are always devastating. Always. Chapter 5. Apple's near collapse. 3 weeks away from bankruptcy. Today, Apple is worth more than $3 trillion, one of the most valuable companies in history. But in the summer of 1997, Apple was dangerously close to collapse. The company reportedly had only weeks of cash remaining. The 1990s had become a slow disaster for Apple. Too many confusing products, no clear direction, leadership problems, a company that had lost the focus that once made it revolutionary. Competitors were winning, investors were leaving. The media had already started predicting Apple's death. Then Steve Jobs returned. He entered a company falling apart and made a decision that seemed extremely risky at the time. He eliminated most of Apple's product line, simplified everything, and rebuilt the company around one simple philosophy: create products so simple and beautiful that people never want to leave them. The iMac, the iPod, the iPhone. Each product reshaped an entire industry. Apple didn't just recover, it became one of the most powerful companies on earth, but it came dangerously close to disappearing forever. Chapter 6. The pattern behind every failure. Look carefully at every story we've discussed. The Titanic, Blockbuster, NASA, Deepwater Horizon, Apple, different industries, different time periods, different people. Yet the same pattern appears again and again. Overconfidence, believing failure could never happen. Ignored warnings. The danger signs existed, but nobody reacted. Poor communication, critical information never reached the right people. Failure to adapt, refusing to change while the world moved forward. These are not rare historical accidents. These patterns are still happening today. Inside companies, governments, engineering teams, boardrooms around the world. And the difference between disaster and success usually comes down to one thing. Did somebody notice the problem early enough? Closing history's most expensive mistakes were not made by foolish people. They were made by intelligent people, experienced people, confident people. And that is exactly why these stories matter so much. The Titanic did not sink because of an iceberg alone. It sank because people believed it never could. Blockbuster did not collapse because Netflix existed. It collapsed because it stopped paying attention. And a $125 million spacecraft was not destroyed by space itself. It was destroyed by a conversation that never happened. The most dangerous moment for any company, mission, or individual is the moment they stop asking, "What if we're wrong?" If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which historical mistake shocked you the most. Thanks for watching.